thank you most sincerely for finding time to join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuluko, PwC Journalist of the Year in Tax Reporting for the year 2016. It's a new dawn. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yes, it's a season of change. And the CITN, the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, is not left behind. A new president has just been sworn in the person of Chief Cyril Ikemefuna-Ede, who became the 13th president and chairman in council of the CITN, in succession to the 12th president and second female president, Professor Mrs. Teju Shomoni. Yes, Professor. The story behind that you get to hear presently. So on this episode, we are going to tell you the story of the investiture of Chief Cyril Ede, which took place on Thursday, the 8th of June, 2017, plus many other stories from the stable of the CITN. But before we go into the stories of the day, let us put you on notice in case you fall in the category of those we want to talk about. You will recall that last episode, the executive chairman of the FRS, Mr. Babatunde Fowler, spent some time talking about the filing and payment cycle for companies' income tax, to the effect that limited liability companies have 12 months as their financial year, and that companies are at liberty to choose their financial year. It could be September to August or the following year. It could be April to March. It could be September to August. It could be January to December. And like Mr. Fowler also said, by choice, most companies prefer to use January to December. Now, for those who use January to December, by 31st December 2016, their financial year ended. And so, this is the month of June. The law says that 6 months after financial year end, the company's self-assessment returns and taxes are due. So, if you have not done so, you have just a few more days. If you fail by the 30th of June to file your self-assessment returns and to pay all taxes due, you will have run foul of the law. And our advice is, don't be caught on the wrong side of the law. This is the time to do it. You have a few more days. Welcome once again. Still talking about companies' income tax and about filing self-assessment returns and paying due taxes. If you fail to file by the 30th of June, that is for companies whose financial year end was 31st December 2016, you are in for stiff penalties. And we have news for you. Effective 1st of July 2017, stiffer penalties will apply. Of course, the penalty according to the law is 10% of the unpaid tax. That remains. But the interest will be jacked up with effect from July 1st, 2017. Under the law, the Federal Minister of Finance is given the powers to add a spread to the CBN MRR, minimum rediscount rate. And the minister has just done that. So effective 1st of July 2017, interest on unpaid taxes will become 19%. Quite a huge price to pay, if you ask me. So, a stitch in time saves 9. You have a few more days, go and file your returns. And do you know that you can now do all your business with the FRS electronically? You can conduct all your tax businesses with the FRS online, real time.
London, New York or Lagos, business or holiday, home or office, you can now carry out your tax transactions from anywhere in the world. You can now file all your tax returns, pay online, get a receipt and even process your tax clearance certificate from anywhere in the world online and in real time. All you need to do is log on to www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-services and be introduced to the world of innovation, convenience and transparency from the FIRS. You can also pay stamp duty as you register a new company with the CAC or or for other transactions that require stamp duty payment online. You can also file your withholding tax returns and determine the withholding tax deducted from you is in government coffers so that you can get your receipt within 45 days as long as the deduction has been remitted. Yes, all of this and more online at www.firs.gov.ng/e-services. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC. Please note that all FIRS services are free of charge. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It pays to pay your tax.
It is indeed a new dawn. By simply visiting the FIRS website, www.firs.gov.ng, and clicking on e-services, you can acquire taxpayer identification number online. You can pay for stamp duty fees online, and you can get your documents stamped online electronically. You can pay electronically from the comfort of your home or office, and you can print your receipt on request, just as you can have them delivered into your email box. You can file self-assessment returns online, and you can request for a tax clearance certificate online, just as you can verify tax clearance certificates submitted to you by other organizations online. It is indeed a new dawn.
London, New York or Lagos, business or holiday, home or office, you can now carry out your tax transactions from anywhere in the world. You can now file all your tax returns, pay online, get a receipt, and even process your tax clearance certificate from anywhere in the world online and in real time. All you need to do is log on to www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-services and be introduced to the world of innovation, convenience, and transparency from the FIRS. You can also pay stamp duty as you register a new company with the CAC, or for other transactions that require stamp duty payment online. You can also file your withholding tax returns and determine the withholding tax deducted from you is in government coffers so that you can get your receipt within 45 days as long as the deduction has been remitted. Yes, all of this and more online at www.firs.gov.ng/e-services. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC. Please note that all FIRS services are free of charge. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It pays to pay your tax.
You are still on to Tax Matters, and we are going straight into the stories of the day. As we told you at the beginning of the episode, the CITN now has a new president. Chief Cyril Ikemefuna Ede was installed as the 13th president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN, at a well-attended and very, very colorful ceremony that took place at the Tax Professionals House, the Institute's secretariat in Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, on Thursday, the 8th of June, 2017.
I, Cyril Ikemefuna Nwobodo Ede, FCTI, do solemnly affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, that as the 13th president, chairman of...
It is my pleasure. It is my pleasure, and from the bottom of my heart, to release this signal of office to our 13th president, Chief Cyril Ikemefuna Nwobodo Ede, FCTI. I should take this signal of office. God will continue to give you strength. Congratulations to our 13th president. Can we put our hands together for the 13th president? My job is done.
All right, thank you very much. Group picture at this stage, may I invite the ESCO members, the vice president, the deputy president, the deputy vice president, the honorary treasurer. Please come and take a picture with the president. These are the handing over notes. Please put your hands together for him. All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
A highly elated Chief C.I. Ede had this to say.
I am grateful for the opportunity to offer my service to our great institute as the 13th President and Chairman of Council. I humbly accept this position with a sense of responsibility, commitment, and gratitude. I praise the Almighty God for the honor He has done me today. The responsibilities of the President, as spelled out in the CI10 Charter, have not changed. I will remain faithful to the core objectives of the Institute.
The investiture of Chief Cyril Ede as the 13th president of the CITN was preceded all week, and indeed from the previous week, by a flurry of activities. On Wednesday, 31st May 2017, the CITN hosted a workshop on policy, law and administration of value-added tax, customs duties, and the hotel occupancy and restaurant consumption law of Lagos State.
This week, I can almost say without any fear of contradiction that all of us here have paid tax at least once or twice, VAT, because you must have bought something. If nothing else, you have bought a recharge card, and you may not see VAT line on it, but it is a VATed service. It's VAT inclusive. If you have paid for, if you have bought some other item in the shop or whatever, today is Wednesday, right? Or is it Wednesday? So for 3 days, you've bought something that has a tax component, but you barely noticed. You just assume the cost of that thing is the amount that you had paid. So it's a bit easier to administer, but I can bet you some of us here have earned income this month. For those who are not in paid employment where our employer use PAYE, I'm very sure the last thing on your mind is how to pay personal income tax. But you had paid VAT almost without knowing, almost without asking questions. So it's difficult to evade, it's easier to collect, it's easier to administer.
There are different models of VAT. We have what we call the gross product method or model that we operate. And we also have the consumption model. What differentiates the consumption model from the gross product model is that for consumption model, every VAT that is paid is available as a set-off against your output.
The workshop was hosted by the Indirect Tax Faculty of the Institute, headed by Professor Bella Sonne of the University of Lagos and a fellow of the Institute.
Why did we put this together? We put this together for a combination of reasons. The first one is that we want to provoke reform agenda in the area of indirect taxes. And we said as institutes, when there are opportunities to reform all these three taxes, we should have a position ready. And the only way we can do it is to have input of those who are very knowledgeable in this area. And that is why we have to go after people like Mr. Ogunjemite, so that we can marry theory. You know, he started by saying that, look, I'm going to speak to this from the practical dimension, which perfectly complemented the very strong theoretical foundation that had been laid by the Vice Dean. So I have no doubt that we have been able to give voice to so many issues which many practitioners are probably not aware of. Some of the issues that have been raised here, I found very exciting. And I will focus only on one. The idea that states, local government and federal government can co-utilize VAT. This is the trend in other federal systems, where you do not have a kind of structure where the federal has to finance the state and the local governments. When we use the word feeding bottle federalism or monthly paycheck federalism, they are meant to incense us and make us do something. So if we want to do something, you will see that this is one of the ways we really need to go.
On Monday, the 5th of June, the Institute hosted another seminar on the new national tax policy, the economic recovery growth plan of the federal government, as well as the federal government budget for 2017. The seminar was powered by PwC, a foremost tax advisory firm.
It's obvious to all of us that information is power or potential power. If we do not have knowledge of what's going on around us, we don't really have the opportunity or the ability to challenge certain things, challenge the status quo, and hope to push for changes, improvements. So we thought, we as tax professionals, we actually have access to all the information that we need to make lives easy for us, to upgrade ourselves, our knowledge, for those who work with clients, to help their clients, to represent their clients, for those who work for the government, to ensure that government is able to get all the required revenue.
Mr. Taiwo Udele is the partner, Tax and Regulatory Services at PwC.
Just to be clear of why we're here and the purpose, number one is for us to gain the knowledge, and that would also mean that you're able to better position yourself for opportunities and whatever roles you can play, both for yourself and for our country, Nigeria. And then another objective, so we bear in mind, is for us to try and contribute to the policy-making process. So whatever key issues come up or come out of this meeting today, we will communicate to the appropriate quarters.
On Tuesday, the 6th day of June 2017, a major event, an earth-shaking event, took place at the CITN. In military circles, they call it pull-out. On that day, Professor Mrs. Teju Shomori, the 12th president of the CITN, second female president of the CITN, who at one time was also the president of the West African Union of Tax Institutes, was honored for 2 years of meritorious service to the CITN. Special guest of honor at the valedictory ceremony was Chief David Ajibola Olorunleke, doyen of the taxation profession in Africa.
We are here to celebrate one of our own, President Mrs. Shomari. I have known Mrs. Shomari for some time now. I first met her when I came as chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service.
The honoree was in her elements as she presented the scorecard of her 2-year tenure.
Now my agenda and how far I have performed. The first one is acquisition of office property in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. I thank God that within the first 6 months, I was able to achieve the first item on my agenda. And the CITN has moved to that office. I use this opportunity to thank FRS and the chairman of FRS for giving us a donation, to start the renovation of the office and to also furnish it. Broaden the membership base. When I took over, the membership was about 17,179 or so. It's now about 3,132. So the membership has grown. Endowment of professorial chairs in the university. This was to revisit the proposal, which has been on the front burner since 2001. We have now endowed a professorial chair in taxation and fiscal policy at Babcock University.
Now to the story behind the sudden reference to Mrs. Shomori as a professor. High point of the valedictory ceremony was the elevation of Dr. Mrs. Teju Shomori from the rank of associate professor to full professor by the governing council of the Caleb University.
The outgoing president has no doubt contributed immensely to the success of the tax profession as well as CITN. She has not only had a distinguished career, but a successful tenure. The Governing Council of Caleb University, having been apprised of your desire to further your worthy service to humanity via the advancement of the frontiers of knowledge, and after a rigorous assessment of your academic capabilities, including the 127 works that was started and were started earlier, they have voted to elevate Professor Teju Somori from the rank of associate professor to full professorship. Because you deserve some rest, a service appointment as the pioneer head of the taxation department from October is also added to that assignment. The letter of the appointment is already included in this envelope. And as a witness, the professors of Caleb here and the registrar with the Secretary of Council and other members, I want to hand over the service appointment as a full professor of taxation to the outgoing president. Thank you.
We are coasting home, and we want to tell you the last of the story of the day, not by any means the least, but the last in the series of activities leading to the investiture of Chief Ede. And that was the 25th Annual General Meeting of the CITN, which was held on Wednesday, the 7th of June, again at the Tax Professionals' House in Alausa, Ikeja.
Notice is hereby given that the 25th Annual General Meeting of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria will hold as follows. Date, Wednesday, June 7, 2017. Agenda, number 1, to adopt the minutes of the 24th Annual General Meeting held on Wednesday, 1st of June 2016. 2, to lay before the meeting the report of council. 3, to adopt the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2016 and the report of the auditors thereon. 4, to appoint the auditors and authorize council to fix their remuneration. 5, to elect members of council. 6, to consider and adopt the following motion: that members' subscriptions should be increased as follows.
High point of the 2017 AGM of the CITN was the election of 5 new members into 5 vacant seats of the council. The process lasted 14 days and voting was by electronic means. 11 men and women contested for the 5 seats. At the end of it all, the lucky 5 emerged.
We hereby return the following as elected members of council. Number 1, Simplice Gladys Olajumoke. Followed by Babarinde Ezekiel Kolawole 428. Next is Disu Olanike Remilekun 334. Next is Makinde Ademola Stephen, scored 311 votes. And finally, Alaribe Davison Chichuoke 294.
From all of us at Tax Matters is big congratulations to the members of Council of the CITN who will serve under the 13th President Chief CIAD for 2017 to 2019. We wish you the best of luck. To our viewers, we say thank you for watching Tax Matters today. Let's do this again next week. Same station, same day of the week, same time of the day. Have a blessed week ahead. And remember, if you are supposed to file in June, that is self-assessment returns for company's income tax, you have a few more days. Have a great week ahead.